Hello, my name is Allison Wick. I'm an American who hosts a few campaigns for Palestinian friends, and I decided to make a video series where I share things I've learned in this crazy, completely self-taught journey of fundraising for families in need. First, I want to say thank you to my dear friend, you know who you are, for sending me this beautiful hijab. You'll see that I'll wear it in some of my videos moving forward. While I'm not a hijabi, I have a lot of respect for the women who wear hijab, and I'm honored for this gift. Today I'm going to share some GoFundMe terminology and fundraising terminology. Keep in mind some of these terms are specific to GoFundMe and some will apply to other types of fundraisers on different platforms too. And please note that I am not a pro in the least bit, and these are just things that I've learned through my own experiences in this kind of work. Getting into it, the first word we're going to talk about is account. An account is not a campaign. It is a GoFundMe account that can house multiple campaigns, and it can also be created by a team member, beneficiary, to add updates and send thank yous. Normally, the account is either owned by the person who is actually raising the funds for themselves and their family, or their trusted person, their helper, their withdraw person. There is no limit on how many campaigns an account can host, but the more campaigns that someone is hosting, the more you should be wary about them helping with your campaign, because you want to make sure that they're actually dedicated to you, they have the time to keep things straight, and also that they're not taking advantage of anyone. Only one account can have someone's bank information tied to it as a withdraw person. So for example, I have 4 campaigns on my account with my bank account tied to those. I wouldn't be able, for example, if someone had their own account with their fundraiser, put my bank account on their account. It'll be marked as a duplicate. Campaign, however, this actually refers to the fundraiser or fundraising campaign. Commission. This word can mean a couple of things. This is sometimes a term that I've heard Palestinian people use to refer to a wire transfer fee or the money that GoFundMe takes from the campaign funds to cover their website operations. So this is sometimes called a transaction fee. Note that no one should be making a cut off your donation funds unless it's specifically to cover tax purposes, taxes in their country. So in the United States, where I am, GoFundMe donations are not considered taxable. Unless there's very specific things that you do, it is not taxable income. So you want to make sure that you're actually looking at the country where your trusted withdraw person is from that's sending you the money, and know what they should be asking out of the donations. No one should be paid for helping you. So we'll go over that in a future video, but usually GoFundMe takes 2.9% of all funds raised as their fee. So make sure that you calculate that into your goal, or just kind of figure out what that amount will be so you don't think it's missing when it doesn't come to you and it goes to the website. Goal. This is the amount you want to raise on your GoFundMe campaign, and it can be set by you and changed at any time. Make sure it's a realistic amount to start, because when people see amounts that are higher than, say, 40,000, they get a little bit nervous because they don't want to donate to huge campaigns asking for a lot of money. Even if this is a realistic amount you need, this can be changed later. So what I recommend is adding to your story a breakdown of how funds will be used, an initial goal, and saying, for example, $35,000 is our first goal. It will be used towards evacuation fees and daily survival, and once we reach this amount, it will be increased to cover other things that we need. All right, GoFundMe. This can either refer to the website or the actual campaign. Host. This is the person who is actually running the campaign. This would be the person who needs the funds, or the helper / withdraw person. So the host is usually the person who has their name on there. The story is, written by them. But basically, I'm the host of 4 campaigns for my friends who help co-host or are team members. International wire transfer. This is one of the most common and one of the only remaining methods of transferring money abroad to your Palestinian families in need. There's a fee associated with this. Usually it's under $50. For example, I use Chase Bank here in America, and it's $40 each time. Usually though, this is actually refunded to me after the wire transfer is complete. It's up to you whether that amount is taken out of your donations, or that are raised on GoFundMe or another platform, or another arrangement is figured out. That's something that you should discuss with the person helping you. QR code. This is the black and white funky looking square that leads you to a link when you point your phone at it, or you click on it on your phone if you have a newer phone. So sometimes these only work if you can point your phone at them unless you have a newer model. So therefore it's best on physical items like flyers or business cards. If an item is digital, you can still use a QR for newer phone models, but I also recommend including a shortened URL. This is a URL that is much shorter than the full GoFundMe link, and I use www.shorturl.at for mine. Story. So this is your story. This is the bulk of your campaign's information that should tell people how you lived before October and what has happened to you since then and how you're living now. Talk about who you're evacuating, and if you feel comfortable, it's good to include first names, ages, and relations, but you can just add ages and relations as well. Make sure to include how you plan to spend the money raised and anything that could come up where you would have to use the money otherwise. For example, most people who are trying to evacuate Palestine are not just spending the money on evacuation, but on daily needs of survival like food, water, medication, etc. You can edit a story at any time, but I also recommend using the update feature, as the updates are sent and emailed directly to all the people who have donated to you, and they will be visible down below your story for people who are looking for updates. Supporter. Supporter is someone who has donated to your campaign, someone who regularly donates or helps you in some capacity. Team member. This is someone that has a GoFundMe account or creates one, and it is used to support a campaign. They can be the person who is going to receive the funds for their family or just someone who's a dedicated supporter of your story. They can post updates and thank donors through the website, which are emailed directly to those people who have donated, and they're invited via a link by the account holder, which I'll explain in another video, but this can either be emailed to you or sent as a link to, say, Instagram or a text message. Terms of service. Boring, but very important. You should read these on every website that you use to talk about your campaign or do fundraising on. Make sure you're doing things the way that the website wants so that your account and campaign doesn't get deleted. Obviously, we know there's a lot of censorship, so there's going to be things that are not against the rules that you'll get punished for anyway, and it stinks. Transfer. Transfer is any time money is transferred from one area to another or an account to another account. So this can be when money is taken out of GoFundMe and put into a bank account, or sent from a bank account to the person in Palestine, either through PayPal or Bank of Palestine. As far as I'm aware, these are the only two methods that really exist anymore because most Western Union locations have been shut down. There's not a lot of money liquidity left in Palestine, and most merchants will charge 20% commission on any money that you get back from them if you transfer money to them to withdraw. Withdraw. This is when money is taken out of the GoFundMe and put into the bank account. This is the first step of getting money. Once it is withdrawn into that bank account of your trusted person, helper, or withdraw person, then they can send that money to you, whatever method that you agree upon. Withdraw person, also sometimes called your trusted person or your helper. This is the person who has a bank account and established residency in one of the 19 approved countries that GoFundMe lists. It should be verifiable. They should have ID and bank account information that they can add to the website because there is a timeline on this, and they are sometimes scammers. So please be careful because people in Palestine are actually scammed more often by people who claim to be trustworthy people to help them than the other way around. So please, you can learn more about GoFundMe campaigns with this guide by Ayub Mahi, linked in my Instagram profile or in his, and this is his handle. And if you're looking for Instagram campaign tips, you should visit I Am Bridget's Telegram channel, which is also linked in my bio. Note that she's having some issues with Meta right now, so she's having a little bit of a hard time with this account, but if you go to my profile, her Telegram account is fine, and you can find tons of tips for campaigning on. Is there a term that I didn't discuss here that you want to know more about? Let me know. I'm happy to make another video on terminology and answer any questions that I'm able to. Thank you.